Hello, Dawid. It's a great pleasure to have you here in the podcast Supernova. Welcome. Yeah, we're looking forward to talking to you.
Thanks, Monse. I appreciate the invitation and I'm looking forward to this interview as well.
Amazing. So I will start by introducing yourself to the people that don't have the pleasure to know you yet. And I would love to say about you that you are a former athlete, you're a serial entrepreneur, and also a venture builder. And you're passionate about turning side hustles into full time realities. Actually, I took this from your bio on Instagram and I found it's a great way to describe what you do. And I know you do that through validating product market fit with different entrepreneurs. And also, I saw that you recently received this top boys in entrepreneurship on LinkedIn. And I thought that the post you made about it was very curious because you said, yeah, I received this badge, so what? And I would love to start this conversation by asking you, why is that? Why is it like, so what that you have this badge?
Yeah, thanks for asking. And yeah, I posted this on purpose because uh, I believe like entrepreneurship is great to know a lot like about entrepreneurship, how to do it, and I used basically like a month or so to contribute to different articles, and then after like a month, LinkedIn considered my contributions as valuable because a lot of people started liking them and so on. And then I received the badge. But why I received the badge, I realized like, okay, you know, entrepreneurship is not about like contributing theories and methodologies, uh, how to be an entrepreneur, but it's a lot about like doing it. And for me, this is the difference between entrepreneurship and a lot of different scientific studies that are out there, because at the end of the day, being an entrepreneur is about going out, talking to customers, building a product, and just like, building traction and building things. And it's about doing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I found it quite funny that there's batches that LinkedIn is giving away to, so to say, entrepreneurs. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And of course, I know that you not only talk about it, you also do it yourself, and you've been doing it for many years. And I would love to know, in your case, what have been the top three learnings from your entrepreneurship journey so far?
Yeah. So I've been trying a lot of different businesses. I've been validating businesses. Right now, I focus on creating product market fit for other
Mhm.
founders, because that's, I would say, a specialty of mine. I'm trying to bring companies from 0 to 1 to really build traction, to really position their product or their solution in the market, so investors are able to fund it, right?
Mhm.
Because that's a key factor number one. If investors look at a business, they want to see traction, they want to see that there's market proof and that users are actually loving the product or loving the service, and that the growth can just go and keep going exponentially or linear. I think it
Mhm.
depends from if it's a VC case or not. And yeah, I realized basically if you look at the stats, 90% of all businesses, they fail, right? They're likely to fail.
Mhm.
So I already believe that running a business that is not failing, yeah, being part of this 10% is already considered to be a successful action or something successful. If we look at this 90%, there's 20 to 25% of businesses that fail because the team is breaking up,
Mhm.
because if co-founders, they don't understand really each other, there's like some issues or something and they break up, they go different paths. And around 40 to 45%, that's actually the number one, is startups fail because they don't find product market fit.
Okay.
Um, so for me, this brings me to the three key learnings that I have. It's super important to build like a team which is, which will create a fundament,
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, people will run the business, right? It's not some sort of an AI. It's the people who start the business who have conviction about solving a problem, and finding those people and enjoying the process together. Those people, I think that's key. So number one. Number two, when you found the right people, you will hit the wall a lot of times because you try to find product market fit, but it's super difficult in some cases. And really, focusing on building traction, on finding product market fit is key. And
Mm-hmm.
this means, you don't always need to build the software first and then, try to find product market fit, rather focus on solving the problem for the users
Yeah.
and then try to build a solution. So that's my second learning. Focus really on building traction, instead of building nice AIs and trying to fit into a trend. Yeah. So
Yeah.
focus really on the problem and building traction here. And
Okay.
number three is, let's assume we have the right team, we have the product market fit. You still will face a lot of conflict, right? You will need to deal with failure and a lot of times. So that's number three, how to deal with conflict and finding a solution or finding a way how to, how to cope with stress, especially during this phases where you hit almost rock bottom.
Mm.
Um, it's super, super important. Building the right mindset, having principles in place that keep you on track of building the business and really bringing you back to the why you actually started it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, these are the three main learnings that I had during my entrepreneurship journey. Yeah.
Okay, so hearing you, I feel it's like a quite challenging journey, and I think probably equally as rewarding as challenging. And from my experience, I have the joy of accompanying some entrepreneurs as my coaching clients, and most of them sometimes mention that this journey, well, of course, it's challenging, and sometimes also can feel a bit lonely when you're trying to fund a team and also trying to validate the fit with the market. So in your case, what are your strategies to stay motivated when things are challenging and are getting a bit rough?
Yeah. That's a good question because keeping the motivation up is key. And nowadays we hear a lot about the buzzword resilience, especially after the post-corona time. Um, I used to be a professional athlete, as you said in the past. Passion, like the sport was my passion. I used to play handball and did track and field afterwards.
Mhm,
And I had to stop my career because of a lot of injuries that I faced. And I had to build up like a resilience that made me stronger and that made me actually, that motivated me all the time again. And I think it was like last week or so, I read a really nice study. Um, like what is super important when you build like the right mindset to stay motivated. And there was a study in a tennis academy in Florida.
mhm,
So they looked at 25 of the 25 top athletes in tennis from the world. And surprisingly, they found out the following. It's not the diet that makes a difference between the 25 and the top five tennis players. It's
mhm,
not the diet. It's not the coaching. It's not the way how they exercise. Um, but it's the way how they think and how they deal with, you know, with the process. And what is the insight here? So after scoring a point, yeah, they
mhm,
make a point or they lose a point. It's the first 10 to 15 seconds that they create, what kind of thought they create. And they realize the top five athletes, they created very positive thought, a very positive connection to the sport itself. And because of creating this positivity to the sport itself, to the
mhm,
process playing tennis, it made them more successful. Meaning, that they achieved making them feel better about, what they do, yeah, and stopping the negative thoughts. And I think that's really key in order to be successful in what you do
mhm,
and to stay really motivated, right? Always creating a positive thought about your actions, about what you want to do. Because if you are positive about what you do, you can think on the solution, right? You always
mhm.
think forward. You always think in action what you can do next. And I think that's really key. Yeah.
Okay, so I hear it's all about mindset and thinking what's the opportunity in there, like when things are challenging, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's about the mindset, and especially about like how we cope with the word failure, right?
Yeah.
Because imagine we have this word failure in our mind, like saying, okay, you failed. And in my opinion, we should delete this word failure, because what does it mean, failure? Yeah, failure is just like you work towards a goal, right? You set yourself a goal
Hmm.
per year. Like if you're an athlete, or if you are like uh, working on a business, and every step you get closer to your objective, to your goal, cannot be considered as a failure. It's a process where you learn.
Hmm.
Yeah, maybe you don't do it perfect, and you will never do it perfect, because nothing is perfect in this world, but you get closer towards your goal. So already this is considered being a success. And in my opinion, yeah, there's not such word as failure, right? It's
Yeah.
rather like, learning on the way and improving yourself. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, I love this perspective that you are suggesting. But I also know that some people talk about this toxic positivity, let's say. So, and this I'm saying this because there's probably some times where you just have to give up on a project or on a sport or whatever objective that you have, and maybe decide to do something else, something new. So I don't know if you can tell us maybe a moment where you decided to stop trying and maybe going to a new thing, or yeah, what's your experience and on when deciding to give up on something?
Yeah. Yeah. I like this. Um, so when you ask a question, you somehow already answered the
Okay.
question. So when you said like to give up, but then focus on something new, right? So you already kind of impli like implicitly is like said that you're giving up on one thing, but you already think about starting something new. So you have a shift in your mindset, what is happening, right? You're already getting ready and preparing for the new, for the future, to focus on something else. Meaning like maybe you lose conviction, maybe on an emotional level you have you're not anymore so convinced about it, right? But you're transmitting your positive energy into the future, right? Into the new
Mhm.
project. And I think that's exactly the key, because you need to balance. You need to balance between thinking about, on an emotional level,
Yeah.
creating like a positive thinking, which is a fundament, right? Considering like embracing as well the feeling of fear, embracing the feeling that things will not always work out as you wish. But that's for me like the fundamental key when you want to do something and when you want to build something. But at the same time, you need to be super rational about what
Yeah.
success means, right? So you need to put this somehow into numbers, because otherwise it's very hard to evaluate if, when, and what you should give up on.
Hmm.
Because you need to have like a baseline to compare to, right? I can decide, like if we would always decide on gut feeling and emotions, we would be jumping from one topic to another one, because one day I want to do it and the next day I don't want to do it. So it's important, I think, to really set clear metrics,
Hmm.
clear kind of numbers that you want to achieve. Yeah.
Yeah.
um, what means success, right?
Yeah.
um, Let me give you an example. So consider like doing a podcast about horses, right? And because your hypothesis is there's a lot of people that are passionate about horses, but and want to have a horse, but they don't know what's important and
Hmm.
how to get a horse, what you need to take care of, and so on, right? Like if you do it for the first time, like everything else in business, or like everything else in life, it's very hard, right? So you somehow want to have um this this start, which gives you some advantage. Yeah. Um, so you can just do it and start
Hmm.
recording it. But if you don't know where to go and how you measure success, for example, by looking at a certain amount of viewers that you want to achieve with your podcast, by looking at a certain amount on conversations that you will start with your viewers, with your listeners, like you will not know where to go to, right? And you will not know actually why you're doing, like what is kind of like the expected outcome that
Yeah.
you expect from your podcast. For me personally, I had this I had this um, this experience a lot of times.
Hmm.
The most difficult was when I started my first business. I was emotionally so attached to it that I kind of completed the metrics numbers. Like I kind of was so blind about the numbers that I was like, yeah, I want to make this business a success, and I just keep pushing and keep pushing until I realized, okay, I have to zoom out and look at it from a different perspective.
Hmm. And so, in your experience that you're mentioning about this first business that you created, what was key for you to zoom out? Like, would you did you have the help of a mentor, or it was you hitting with the wrong metrics all the time and just thinking, okay, maybe it's time to do something different? Like, what happened for you to zoom out?
Yeah. Okay. So what really helped me to zoom out was the following. So I was quite young. I was still in university, and I had only the experience in my small ecosystem. So for my peers, I used to study from some other people I shared time with on events that I met, like my parents, for example, right? Some other friends that started a business and so on. And what really helped me in this time was like to open myself and go out and reach out to other people and sharing openly what I'm facing, what struggles I'm facing, and why I'm facing them. So what happened was like, I think for a year or 1.5 years, we've been building actually a great product, but no one wanted the product. So we've been building a marketplace, but just a few people. It was pre long time pre-corona, like people were not using the marketplace. Like maybe they considered it too complicated. We didn't know by then. And then I got in, like I talked to a mentor back then, which I met in my university, which was a few years older than me. He already had a few businesses. Um, and he said, like, did you talk actually to your customers what they really want? What are their needs? And I said, like, wow, no, I didn't. And this was an eye opener, right? It was so simple that helped me really to zoom out, to gain a different perspective. But I needed from outside the input, right? I needed someone else telling me like what to do, and this helped me a lot, actually.
Wow. Okay. Really, thank you for sharing this personal experience. Would you say that then you recommend an entrepreneur to like have a mentor or kind of explore these ideas with other people? Because so from my experience, see a lot of people wanting to start a business and they just go with it, not necessarily testing the idea, talking to people, because some people are like, oh, I don't want to share my idea because maybe someone will steal it, or are very protective about it, which I guess it's reasonable, but at the same time, then how can you not go through the process of hitting a wall, as you were saying?
Yeah, okay. So here I have a very strong opinion on about
Okay.
ideas. So I
Okay.
think there's like tons of ideas, and I think at this point in time, someone in Asia, someone in Latin America has exactly the same idea as you do, right? So I don't think ideas are worth anything. Look at Facebook, right? Mark Zuckerberg, when he built Facebook, there was MySpace. There was in Europe, we had already tons of these platforms, social media platforms. In every single country, there was something. There was Stay Friends, I think in Germany especially.
Mhm.
There was Nasza Klasa in Poland. There was there was even ICQ, right? Like there were so many different platforms that we already know today, which are just replicas in my opinion.
Mhm.
And at the end of the day, like what made the difference? And the difference was made because someone else executed quicker and better and more efficient than the rest of the world, right? And I think that's key. Like really coming back to the other question, right? When you ask me what are the learnings, I think focus on building traction, and really finding to really focusing on getting product market fit is key.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, that's around the ideas. And I think you shouldn't be afraid of sharing your ideas with someone else. Um, when we look at mentoring, I think it's super good to look for a mentor. My understanding of mentoring is always two-sided. So what does it mean? Two-sided means like you are giving something else to the person, the other person considers you as valuable, but at the same time, the mentor and the mentee, the mentor is considering the input from the mentee, the feedback as well as valuable, right? So that's why it's two-sided. Whereas coaching, for example, is rather one-sided, right? So it's kind
Mhm.
of like the coach is giving um the coachee like a direction, yeah, like he
Yeah.
puts him or herself into a reflection mode, so to find the right path, yeah, and to take the
Yeah.
right decisions, yeah.
Yeah. And that is enriching for both sides. And I think this can lead to, as you were saying, extraordinary things like, for example, Facebook. And this makes me want to jump into the last section of the episode, which is asking you three questions that we make to all of our guests. And the first one is precisely, what does extraordinary mean to you?
What means extraordinary? For me, it means doing something unique, developing like a superpower that makes you again like unique, right? Special.
Hmm.
For some, it might be like connecting people with other people because they are like network talents. And if they do this very good, I think they should double down on it and should really like focus on doing this.
Hmm.
Then there's other people that are really good in selling and telling stories. That's a superpower you can leverage on.
Hmm.
But in my opinion, you always should try to find a superpower, what you're really, really, really good at, and try to double down on it. Everything else, you can either delegate or you can learn. Yeah, you can learn how to do, I don't know, financial modeling. There's a
Yeah.
lot of YouTube videos out there, or you can get someone else to teach you how to do it. But like, I think every person has a unique power, a unique superpower, uh, and finding this out and then doubling down on it. I
Yeah.
think that's key. Yeah.
To make them extraordinary. Okay. Thank you.
Yes.
Then,
Yes.
second question is, if you were a billboard, what would you say and where would you be?
If I would be a billboard, so first of all, like as my background is from sports and I really love sports until today, because I think a healthy body as well brings along with a healthy, like it's a base for the healthy mindset, and it helps you to build a healthy mindset as well. My slogan would be just go for it. Yeah, kind of looking here a little bit at Nike, I have to say. Um, yeah, just go for it. Look into the future, like, yeah, embrace the future. Yeah,
Yeah.
embrace the moment. That's kind of like the direction I would put this in. And I would be in front of a big gym, to get people ready with their mindset before entering the gym, sort of. Yeah, kind of having the
Wow.
connection.
Very cool. Thank you. And last question is, what is the book that you most often give as a gift?
That's a tricky question because I don't think there's one book that fits them all. Meaning that I think a book should be personalized to the needs of a person. We did this while I was building a startup, for corporate, like last year with friends. So we had a lot of people like interns and freelancers and other people joining us in the organization, and they joined us just for a certain period of time, right?
Mhm.
So we knew these people quite well. We knew what they are good at and what they are kind of where they can improve,
Yeah.
where they have a lot of room for opportunity. Yeah. And then we selected a book for each of the person to work on, let's say, their opportunities. So we had like, I don't know, 15 different books personalized for every person. And I would do it the same way. So always when I have a friend and I'm like thinking about what gift could be great,
Hmm.
um, I always think about, okay, what can fit to this person? Yeah.
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 Okay.
One of my favorite books, which I'm right now reading again, because I'm always trying to figure out what's the purpose of existence, why I'm doing things, right?
Hmm.
Um, is the Big Five for Life from John Streletsky. It's about, like, as I said, like really finding the purpose of existence and then building your fundaments for your entire life, what you actually want to do. For example, inspire people, right? Maybe travel 100 countries in total.
Yeah.
Uh, tr yeah, build a business, have an exit, like sell the company, right? Or yeah.
Mhm.
And I think this book is, if you're looking for a good book, this one is a nice one.
Okay, then I'll definitely have a look. And I love how your answer also reflects what you do is always finding the fit, like what fits for each person or product or company. So
Yeah.
thanks a lot for sharing, David. It's been a pleasure having you. And yeah, hope to see you very soon. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. It was a big pleasure and looking forward to meet
Thank
you
you,
again.
David.